So, welcome, everybody. Scott, if you want to pop on and give your spiel before we get started here, you're welcome to do that, or you can wait till the end. Leave it up to you. Scott here has a awesome project, and he just threw up a video on YouTube. He's a maker. He made a cool freaking epoxy bench thing for a charity, and
It's up to you, man. I mean,
as a fellow maker, I asked him if he wanted to come on and say a bit on my live stream. So
yeah, no, it's up to you, man. I can hang till the end.
I'll
It's not a
throw
big deal.
the link in the chat to his YouTube.
This is your show, not mine. I'm happy to wait till the end. It's not a big deal.
Scott, if you want to unmute yourself and say something. No? Yes, maybe. I'll pull it up anyway.
How about now?
Pop it over here. I threw it in the chat in YouTube, and
Can you hear me now?
so right here he is. He's got this incredible coffee bean countertop he made with for a good cause. So if you want to check it out, hit him up in the copy the link, save it for later. And the boss is in YouTube. So hey, babe.
Hey, Jeremy says he can hear me. You can't hear me? That's weird.
Alrighty.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I can't hear Scott either. So maybe he can come back on here in a little bit. Okay, you can hear him? Cool. I muted myself.
How about now? Is that helpful?
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, I had my external monitor plugged in because I had two things going at once. Because you know what it's like. You're watching analytics. And
I've got monitor.
Yeah, you're trying to watch. I don't think there's anything too different in what you do versus what we do on the YouTube side, right? Like you're watching the analytics and I'm hyped up on espresso, as you know, so that's not helping. So what I said was it's your show, bro. You invited me.
Yeah.
I can till the end. I'm all cool, but thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's nice to meet you.
You're not a trader, but you're a fellow maker. I make stuff. Everybody here knows I'm a tinker maker, do things. So I just thought I'd have you on a minute and promote your little charity.
Yeah,
here.
we're living that Tony Stark lifestyle. What is it? Billionaire, tinker, philanthropist, playboy. What? Well, I'm 51. I'm not a playboy anymore. I'm definitely a philanthropist, though. I've always made the joke that the only people that are looking out for me is like Bubby. I mean, that's kind of the deal. So yeah, the charity. So we had this really cool opportunity. I recently bought a building in Whitehall, Maryland. I was leasing space in the building, since we're talking about finances, right? And I was paying rent, and the owner of the building came in and said, I'm kind of done with this. I can't make it work. Are you interested? And I'm like, sure, I'll try anything once. Right. So I bought this 110-year-old paper mill. We've been restoring it for the better part of a year now, trying to turn it into a artistic maker space, but maker space defined as creatives and not necessarily community based, but more along the lines of collab space for makers. And
if you the video right here is about his buying his shop here. I bought my
that's about the buying the shop. Yeah, right. And you and I met on Daryl's program, right? And really
had my YouTube class for those that
yeah, YouTube class learning how
I've been talking about the YouTube things.
Yeah, learning how to do YouTube. So anyway, so these guys, and I say guys because it was all guys, come in the shop, and they're looking to open up their first brick and mortar space for their coffee company. And it's a family, and they live about 20 minutes from here, and they lost their son/brother to opiate addiction. And they bought a food truck, and they opened a 501c3 after he died. The guy's name was Jimmy. And after Jimmy died, and they're like, how are we going to give back? And I don't want to give away the whole story about what they did, but long story short, they've made enough money now to open up a sober home for people coming out of addiction. They have a full-time staff now, and so they buy this coffee truck, and they want to do a brick and mortar store. And so we asked them about the coffee truck, and they said that they were they said that they were, excuse that ding. My wife says hi. Anyway, so they said they hadn't done the design work on the inside of the truck yet, and said, "Hold our beer," right? You know, which was a funny joke at the time, probably inappropriate, but and we ponied up with our sponsor, Stone Coat Countertops Epoxy, and we built them these 2 countertops made out of 67 pounds of coffee beans. And the video dropped today, and super pumped about it. Mainly, this is probably going to be a new niche for me. Probably going to be a direction we go where we create content for charities and try and get those charities money, you know, as long as they're vetted charity, which this one totally is. Yeah. And we just want people to buy their coffee beans, you know, and let them continue their good mission. It's a good use of my time. You know what I mean? Like, this is chapter 2 for me. So,
Yeah.
you know, you find your thing, right? You know, I can do the 3-tool workbench. I can build benches and river tables and screw up epoxy flooring and be a full-on maker and tinkerer like we are, right? But, you
Yeah,
know,
you can see all this stuff down through here.
yeah, right. Yeah. Well, the best part of our channel is we don't first cut anything. Everything that I do, I've never tried before. It may look like I know what I'm doing. No, don't have a clue. But so, you know, like, this might be I think this is a new direction for our channel. I think that this is going to be really cool. And my goal is a million views with a 1% conversion. That would make the charity $160,000. That's a pretty good payday, I would think. That's the goal. So thanks for having me on, and I'll entertain any fun questions. I'm not even looking here that, you know, oh man, 100-year-old barnwood. Do you know what that costs, Frank? Seriously. He probably does. Yeah, I mean, seriously, right? We could talk about that all day long.
Yeah, I've got a source of some Tennessee chestnut from way back when, before they cut them all down.
Yeah, so I live in a place called Chestnut Ridge in Maryland, that used to be all chestnut groves, and it's a legit ridge. And then Blythe took them out in the early 1900s. They never changed the name of the town. But
Yeah.
chestnut's really expensive, you know, and he lives on a farm too. That just makes me feel bad about myself. I don't really want to. Like, literally, right?
All right, Scott. Well,
hey man, look, let's talk about stocks.
we're gonna jump into
Yeah, let's talk about
Yeah.
stocks. Thanks for letting me hang on. I'm gonna actually sit here and pay attention. I promise I will.
Yeah.
And thanks for the shout out. I really appreciate it. And if you need any more punchy humor,
if anybody's got anything for him, yeah. If anybody got anything for him, hit him in the chat, and he'll be here. So
yeah, I'm here
all
for
right,
punchy
let's jump
humor.
on to what we
Let's
came
do it.
for.
Thanks, man.
All right, everybody. So back to what we came for, right? Main event. And start out with the S&P 500. We are hanging out down here at the danger zone, the lows, right? Be careful, be cautious. We can get an extension lower, but right now, I think we're kind of in this danger zone for a reversal. We got one last week, good 230-point pop, and then a 230-point right back down, quick up and down, just hanging out in the lows. So be careful. We can extend lower very easily, but we can also rip higher very easily. Now, NASDAQ right here looks a little more clear that we seem to be working on an extension down to this 10,500 area. So big tech, watch out. Russell here leading the market still with a higher low, potential to lead the market higher. This is our small caps. Everything that's not a big cap, like not Google, IBM, Microsoft, you know, all our bigger, more valuable, employ tens of thousands of people. That's our small caps here. And they tend to lead the market. You know, I don't really have to remind everybody here, but they consolidated all last year in 2021, while S&P 500 and the NASDAQ were pushing higher. They did this little fake breakout higher and then crushed down. But now making a higher low, kind of leading off in front of the broader market. So keep an eye on this one. If this one does decide to come down and make a lower low, watch out. We could definitely see an extension across the market here. Oil, I warned everybody in Discord about topping out at 92 last week. It definitely did that. Getting a 2-day pullback now. We can return down and revisit the lows or even work on an extension. So be cautious on oil. Gasoline, still working on that correction. I think we are likely to see $2 gasoline on the futures before this thing turns around and goes super bullish. That doesn't mean we don't see $3 again here before we come down and see $2 again. Just before this whole correction is over. We were up here at 440 on the futures, hanging out at 257 right now, even though the pump prices are going up steadily. That's not the reality in the futures market. So keep that in mind. Now gold right here failed to complete its breakout, although it did break out of the downtrend. Now we're back testing it. This thing's got to get back above around 1800 before I'm really looking for my long position. All right. So you know what? SPY is ES. You know what? QQQs is INDX. So the SPY and QQQ are derivatives of S&P 500 or ES. ES is the S&P 500 futures. They trade almost 24/7, Robert. So if you're going to dismiss the ES chart, then you're ignoring what the SPY is a derivative of. And if you didn't know SPY is a derivative, then you probably should read a prospectus on that ETF. Same with QQQs. That's NASDAQ, INDX or NQ. NQ is the futures. And those are derivatives. So, QQQ is derivatives of those things. So if you're going to ignore the futures, you're going to ignore a lot of information you have about the price patterns. That's why I use futures, because they trade almost 24/7, closed on Saturday and part of Sunday. You can see there's not much gaps in the charts on there compared to the S&P 500 that gets a lot of gaps. So S&P SPX only trades during open market hours, and then SPY is just, it's not even dividing by 10. It's like, dividing by 10.1 or something like that. If you wanted an actual small index, play XSP, that is perfectly 1/10 of S&P 500. All right. And then Armand asks about silver. If you got questions in the live stream on YouTube, make sure you hit them in the chat too. So silver right there, rejecting the roadmap line. And it was a 3-wave up into the roadmap line. That can very easily see continuation down. Put my tool back over here. Where would the continuation be? 15. So if this one starts breaking back down below about that level, somewhere around 1750, 1730, we start breaking back below where this consolidated right here, can easily push down to this $15 area on silver. All right. Where's Apple headed? Let me show you AAPL. Apple right there, consolidating on the uptrend of the lows. My primary expectation would be for this to happen. We'll just watermelon seed squeeze it out. We break back, if we break down below here, we can return to the lows down here around 129.50 or so. Break down below that, 119 would be below that. Back to the low. And then out to there. All right. SQQQ was the question I saw in there. And it's just the opposite of QQQ, basically. Climbs higher as QQQ drops. It looks like to me that, like I started out with up here, it looked a lot like NASDAQ was going to stretch for a lower low. Pretty clear on both those charts that it looks like it's going to push lower at 10,500 area. And if you're interested in QQQ price, that's like divide by 41 or something like that. Then SQQQ is an inverse derivative, and I'm not sure what the multiple is. Alrighty. UNG. Right there. Still working on getting out of this funk right here. And I had natural gas futures, right? Where'd it go? That's nice. Took it off the list. All right, NG1 exclamation point, natural gas. So we're still consolidating above that line I threw in here that comes from all the way back over here. Hold them up there. It's bullish. If we start breaking down below that, the awesome setup may be over for now. All right, XLU. Wow, that one got crushed. So much for utilities being a flight to safety, right? Making a lower low than it's made basically since October 21. It's gone nowhere in a year. Of course, if you look at the yearly pattern, it could be if we hold this area, it could be a prime opportunity to buy for a run into the springtime. October low. Moving on back. Looks like November low. So October, November, we tend to get a low and then run into that February, March timeframe. Looks like that happens almost every year. All right. DLTR. Oh, missed a letter there. DLTR. Yeah, consolidating under the roadmap line. Got a little bit of potential up here with a little bit of watermelon seed squeeze play, kind of like the apple chart there. We do this. And then one more up. I'd watch out for that on Dollar Tree. If it breaks down there, it can easily come down and retest this junk down here. All right, LMG. It's a new one for me. That one, if you type that right, that's LMG. It doesn't seem to be, unless it's, yeah, there's no US stock that I'm guessing you meant LNG maybe. And that one's reaching for the sky. Keeps hitting his head right at that 177 area. We get a pop, we can see right up at near 200. If natural gas really gets going, I expect that one to hit up right around this 200 area, 197, 200. So, all right. ATVI, Activision, and getting crushed. Consumer spending hitting record lows. So, man, that's got a heck of a gap to fill. Made this gap right here. That can come right back down there. All right, AZO, AutoZone, get the zone. Oh, covered up my tool. Those ads are getting bigger. I don't know what y'all think. Looks like bounced off the roadmap line. That one's looking quite bullish here. It's 2,443. Thought I was reading it wrong at first. Yeah, $2,443. Yeah. Whew. It's like the prices Amazon used to be before the split. All right, GIS, not Z, GIS. Yeah, working higher. Right out the extension, got a pullback, right back. Next extension out would be this 86 area. Of course. Yeah, right up there. Right in that zone right there. It's my next extension, higher expectation. Seems a little crazy, but that's it right there. All right, then GILD. Yeah, got a little funk. We got to get back above this zone right here to break higher. Back about 68 can get us back up into this upper end of the range here, back at 74. All right, WMT. A little bit of consolidation under the roadmap line. That looks like a little bit of a channel wedge thing. I'd be cautious on that. You can keep working that down. We see a break out of the top. It's going to probably pop up to this 144 area. We see a break at the bottom. It's probably going to retest these lows from right over here. Back down around 118 to 120. OXY. Has that thing got its pullback yet? Yeah, working on another leg of the pullback. To go long, I want to see it break above this now. One of Warren Buffett's favorites right there. Couldn't hold on to the 618. Probably going to retest with a higher low here before we can get a push out. The reasonable expectation would be 84 before we retrace again. All right, then LCID. Yeah, almost to the target. A little bit more to go down around this $10, $11 area. Yeah, SQQ 3X, but there's a it's a inverse, so there's a multiplier to it. USO. That one's still chugging down, trying to break through this downtrend line. I'd watch the oil chart for that one. I'm not willing to go long USO or UCO until oil confirms the breakout. And this one actually looks a lot like the crude oil chart I showed a minute ago. Bouncing off the roadmap line, could make a lower low. Be careful, be cautious. Trying to go long oil right now. 92 is the resistance on the CL chart. It's right there. 92 is the target for the head and shoulders pattern. It failed to break out lower, rejected, did the exact distance from the head to the neck, right up there. Found resistance right at the roadmap line and that level. It can extend lower. So UCO, USO, all the oil. And short oil is SCO. This one can break out. All righty. Yeah, obviously, Ray, the XLU is not fighting any kind of anything in the raising rate. So Ford. Ford. There we go. Right now, just kind of chugging right here. You can reach just a little lower. We're just, my cost basis is right at 11. So we're sitting right at my cost basis. On the shares. This one's just part of a bigger story, bigger pattern story. Years long pattern story. All right, went through LNG OKE. That looks messy. So it's a downtrend right now. Looking for an extension lower. This retrace right here. Almost got the targets at 49. Expected to get into that area. If it breaks lower than that, 45. It's gonna have to break through that trend line right there and the roadmap line that's barely visible. It's become just a little thread on the chart. ATVI has a merger offer. CRWD. Oh, breaking down. That one looks like it's gonna return to the low. Not good there. That was a break, a back test. 129 would be the initial move. And if it's to get an extension, 114, 115-ish would be the target below that. All right, K. That Kellogg, yep. Yeah, consolidating to the roadmap line. That's a prime setup to go higher. I thought it might go lower there. Nice one, Shane. Oh, look at that. Remember what I had? Remember that conversation, that thing we talked about during the live? It's just one of those coincidences right there. Break back above 74.50 sets that one up to go higher. All right, CB. Downtrend. Extension lower. All right. BWXT. Sideways. Can't even see the roadmap line for the last 2 weeks. C and Q. Another sideways. It's got to break above that resistance above it there. Back above 60. And then HIG. That's a downtrend. Holding the roadmap line. Holding the roadmap line. Extension lower. Then ARPO. Another one destined for lower prices. MPW. Woo. That one got taken out behind the woodshed and shot. All the way to 2618. That could be the bottom, but I would be very cautious. Oh man. That is a drop. Vicious drop. It's gonna have to be back above 14 before I would even be looking at that again. All right, Beto. That was just following Bitcoin, which is just consolidating right around 19,000. I mean, the lows are all the way down here at 17,760. We're hanging out at 19,000. It's got to get bullish. I mean, that's right now. It's just consolidation that's sideways. Like I said, we're in the pre-halving bottoming period from now until March. Somewhere between now and out here around March, this zone. We're going to make a bottom in Bitcoin and maybe a spike down and reversal. Could be already in place. So we're in this zone. We're going to make the bottom and start moving up. If it follows the pattern that it's done since the beginning of Bitcoin. All right, SMG. SMG. Another one of those out behind the woodshed, taking down Scott's Miracle Grow. This is not their peak season. Oh, 4236. That's a good place to find a support. My last fib. It's got to break above that trend line though. So if it doesn't hold there, the 686, I guess, would be the next one. It's not even turned on. Yeah, so 23 would be the next one down. If it just really poos the bed. All right. Bitcoin has a head and shoulders pattern, and it can take it down to 12. To answer your question, Bob. ZIM. Do a few more of these and wrap her up here. Yeah, ZIM looks like it can get an extension down if it doesn't reverse here. Rivian, I thought, let's see, I must have done it in the other one. I was on a show just before this one. We covered Rivian. Looks like potential bouncing off the roadmap line and getting a lower low. Didn't quite make the roadmap line. Not a ton of history. New companies are a bearish pattern for the most part. It's like a 95% rate that public companies come on and they have a corrective bearish pattern. This one does not look like it's finished yet. Looks like it needs another leg lower, possibly down in the 16, 13 area. So be careful on that one. Mara, holding up okay. Holding the pattern so far. Still looking for it to, looking for crypto to get out of the funk. It's just hanging sideways. Race Ferrari. Yeah, that one had a bouncing off the roadmap line there. Didn't do the breakout. So if it breaks back below that trend line, we're going to return to the low. Or it may just ride the trend line until it gets back to the low. It looks like Enron, yeah. All right. DE, yeah. Do a few more. DE has the potential to break out, but I wouldn't be really interested till it's above 384-ish. And then FDX, FedEx, ouch. Because, hit the target down. Hit the 1618, 42, 142. And I'd set an alert at like 167. It starts breaking above 167. That's where you can like start thinking about paying attention to FedEx again. Otherwise, set an alert at 140. Starts breaking down. We can see it move significantly back down to like 100. Moderna, mRNA. Hanging out the lows. Breaks below there. We can extend down to 75. That was a warning I put out there at that level, 150. All the way back down to low. We can see it break down 75. All right, ADBE. Yeah, that one's getting shot too. Back to COVID levels. Guess my Creative Cloud subscription is not holding up Adobe at all. All righty. Yeah, bye, Lori. All right, Z. And Zillow getting hit too. Looks like they're almost to the COVID lows. they might come down and retest that, especially with housing going in the toilet. Watch where to find some support in this 20s area. All right, PayPal, PYPL. So far, looks like the target is 60. It may get that. It may do that. Reminds me a lot of Square before it broke on down. Square may reach down and test this 48 area. So edit, EDIT. I wouldn't bet on it. That looks pretty bearish. Pushing the 786. Looks like it needs to retest these lows here. Yeah. All right. Let's see. A couple more PEGY. I see on YouTube. PEGY. Nice pop right there. At the roadmap line. If it can't break through, that's bearish. If it can break through, then it's indicating that it can potentially turn bullish. So, all right. This thing works on all time frames, these lines. What I would expect is if this thing's turning bullish, it's going to do this. Come back, test the roadmap line. And then take off. If it's doing bullish, if it's going bullish. And this could be a few months or whatever. Alrighty. Well, that's going to wrap it up, everybody. Remember, my buddy Scott came in, and I'll throw in his link one more time in the chats. Go check out his channel if you're interested in that sort of thing. And we'll see you again next week for 30 Minutes Awesome. Thanks, everybody. I'm glad you stopped by. Stop to share. Remember, go check out this video over here if you're interested on the replay. If you're watching on YouTube later, remember to like and subscribe on YouTube. Helps me out, gets my stuff out to more people. And we'll see you again later. Bye, everybody.